Hi, everybody. It's Thursday, October 12th, 2023. Good afternoon in the East. Good morning in the West. I'm Dana Lane. Welcome to Against the Public. We're the only show that combs through early betting patterns by the public, shows you exactly where you might want to steer clear of those early opinions. And today we're going to go back to the NHL, analyze 5 spots on tonight's 7-game card where the majority of the money is on the side or the total. And our job is to steer our viewers clear of a betting pattern that will likely take money away from your bankroll. And before we get to today's games, guys, go right now to pickdawgz.com. You'll find my college football 3-pack involving tonight's 2 games between West Virginia and Houston, East Carolina, and SMU. Get all 3 for $54.99. Also comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee. NFL back as well. Chiefs, Broncos. Thursday night football, I have side and total locked in on Pick Dawgz. In addition, big night, Phillies, Braves also in. Don't have side and total, but I have the side in this. Didn't like the total, so I stayed away from that. And we're going to wash down those plays with 3 strong, mega strong NHL plays. So however you get involved, please do, and I appreciate everybody that has so far. Before we get to our games, I wanted to talk to you about betting patterns that we're dealing with moneyline betting patterns in the NHL. And last night we kind of took it on the chin, but still 51-31 on the show, good for 61% winners. But that, sometimes you're going to find those valleys, and especially when we're dealing with money lines, and you have to be able to find that discipline, because sports betting is a discipline. No matter what anybody tells you, it is a day in and day out grind, and you must stay disciplined. It stinks, guys. I know. Believe me, I know. When you lose games, especially if you're 3 or 4 games under 500 for the night, it doesn't feel good. You naturally want to do something to take that feeling away from you, get to where the peaks are again. And then when you're at the peak, you want to do things to get to a higher peak. All those that thought process is a perfectly normal thought process. Unfortunately, that thought process will also eat up your bankroll and eventually leave you with nothing. So you have to stay disciplined, especially when we're dealing with the NHL and Major League Baseball. You could have a record under 500, which is, you would think you lose, but with money line, you could have a record under 500 and still be in the black when you choose to write underdogs. So that's kind of what you try to do on a daily basis. Stay away from those big money lines, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's update the numbers. Go back to last season a little bit, and so far the public is 4-3 on the money line wagers when the team is getting the majority of the money. Still not good enough for a win. Minus 1.21 units based upon a 1-unit wager. Since 2021, the public has been right 55.4% of the time, but all that has got them, and we're going to put it in money terms for you, a $100 blind wager on the teams that get the majority of the money would have lost you $14,253 over that period of time. Only once since 2015 has the public profited despite having a winning record, and that was in 2021, which was the shortened season. I had a guy ask me, well, what about if the ticket count and the money count receive the mass majority, the higher percentage? I mean, that would make you think, hey, look, going with the mentality of, hey, eventually these casinos are going to win, certainly that would make a team stronger, and it does. That's a great idea, and it makes sense. The public is still right, and good on him, because that comes to fruition here. The public is still right with a record of 1,099 and 683, 62% winners, but they lost on the money, minus 55.71 units. So even when you win the majority of the time, if you blindly are betting with the public, you will eventually lose it. So what range is getting hurt the most? And I know we've done this for other sports, but I don't think we've done it for the NHL. What range is hurting the public the most? And it's exactly where you would think. It's right in that minus $1.40 to minus $1.70 range. The public has won 56% of these wagers, but the bankroll has been getting crushed over the last 3 seasons, losing over 25, almost 26 units of profit. Over 46% of the money lost by the public when betting, when receiving the majority of the money, has been lost in that minus $1.40 to minus $1.70 range. And that absolutely makes sense, because the thinking is, well, I'm getting a good team here. I don't have to lay too much, because 140, 170 is, depending on where your parameters are, it's not too much. But if you lose 2 of those, you've got to win 4 just to overcome those losses. And that's just to have a small profit. So you can see how that adds up quite a bit. I hope you stay with me on those, because I absolutely like to geek out over the numbers. And it's very, very interesting, because I have these conversations about, numbers all the time and where the public really is getting hurt. And that's certainly the window where they're getting hurt. So anything more than that, though, you don't really want to go, you're not trying to lay $2 favorites. You're not trying to bet underdogs that are, 250 underdogs. But I did have somebody last night say, well, if I see something like the Bruins were 325, 330 last night, favored against Chicago, and I had somebody say, well, I just bet underdogs when they're that big of a money line. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that absolutely did produce a profit over a period of time, which is interesting, because in that scenario, that you get plus 330 with every win. So as long as you win, 1 out of 3, you're still profiting. Okay, so it's enough of that. Let's get to our games. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold. Philadelphia at Columbus is our first game tonight. Columbus minus $1.08, 6.5 over minus 15. Carter Hart versus Elvis Merzlikins. I have the side up on Pick Dawgz right now, so we're going to focus on the total. 78% of the public dollars are in on the under. 75% of the total tickets are in on the over. And this is just a case of the bigger money against the smaller money, the pros versus the Joes. We've always based this show on the money, so we'll focus on that. And the Blue Jackets have a new head coach behind the bench, and of course we know what happened to Mike Babcock, if you follow the league, right up, basically in the offseason after he was accused of violating player privacy during the offseason. That's the whole thing, because I really like Mike Babcock too. I'm sad when things like that happen. In comes Pascal Vincent, who's been on the Blue Jackets coaching staff since 2021. I love the Flyers' depth. I love guys like Travis Konechny, who, if you followed him, he's going to be, third-line winger this year, but he's still a guy that, put up 31 goals last year. He's going to play third-line minutes for John Tortorella. I'm going to take the over 6.5 minus 15. I think the Flyers are really starting to develop some depth. I think they're the better of the two teams. I think it's going to be close, but I think both teams have enough firepower to put this game over the total. Florida and Minnesota, Sergei Bobrovsky against Marc-Andre Fleury. Minnesota minus $1.30, 6.5 under 15, 78%. That just changed. This changes as I go. 78% of the public money is on the Wild, which has pushed this number up from minus $1.20 to $1.30. Let's see if the Panthers have enough have juice left in them after last year, after losing the Cup to Vegas. Bobrovsky is 13-3-1 with a 2.03 goals against average and a .931 save percentage against Minnesota in his career. That's good enough for me. I'm going to take Florida and the defending Eastern Conference champions tonight. St. Louis versus Dallas, Jordan Binnington against Jake Ottinger. 87% of the money is in on the under, but that just hasn't been enough to budge the juice at all of minus $1.20. 93% of the ticket count is also in on the under. And this is a deep stars team that got even better with the addition of Matt Duchene from Nashville. Of course, Duchene had 22 goals last year for the Preds. I'm assuming he's going to be on that line with Tyler Seguin. And Seguin, another 20-goal scorer from last year. 2 20 goals years back-to-back for Tyler, so kind of a resurgence in his career. I think both of those players are going to elevate each other. I expect both of those guys to at least be in the 25-goal range, maybe 70-point range this year. That in addition to a team that already has Jason Robinson, Joel Pavelski, Rupe Hintz on the top line. I'm going to go Dallas and over on most nights. Actually, Dallas, so let me say that correctly, over in the Dallas-St. Louis game, not Dallas and over, because parlay guys go crazy when you say things like that. Seattle versus Nashville. Philip Grubauer versus UC Saros. 98% of the money is on the under 6.5, minus 20. 89% of the tickets follow suit, although that number has not budged at all. We've seen this scenario before where both teams didn't look great in the game before. Everyone piles on because of the recent game memory. And, of course, Seattle scored just once in their 4-1 loss to Vegas on opening night. Nashville 3 times against Tampa in a 5-3 loss. That was a crazy game, wide open. I think this is going to be a little bit tighter tonight, but still plenty of opportunities for both teams. I think Seattle was aggressive. I think they carried play at times against Vegas. Vegas's rosters it's just a lot deeper, and you can see why they won a cup last year. Seattle was 0 for 4 on the power play. Nashville did get 1 power play goal. I think special teams is going to play a massive part in tonight's game. We're going to push this game over the total. And finally, Vegas Golden Knights, your get-out game. Vegas Golden Knights minus 229 road favorite. 6.5 under minus 15 in San Jose at the SAP Center. Aiden Hill against Capo Kakinen. 98% of the early money is in on the 6.5 under, with ticket count also at 78% going towards the under. And we see the San Jose Sharks for the first time without Erik Karlsson on the blue line. And you listen to head coach Dave Quinn, he says all the right things. And coaches that tell me I think we're going to surprise a lot of people are coaches that are saying I don't think we're very good, and hopefully we'll sniff the 500 mark. And I think that's what you got here in San Jose. I think they're in for a long season. They're not going to surprise anybody. Vegas has always had a chip on their shoulder when they play San Jose, which goes back to the 2018 playoffs. We know Vegas has enough firepower to push this game over. San Jose also does. You watch Logan Couture and Tommy Hurdle, 2 guys that absolutely can put the puck in the back of the net. And maybe they'll catch Vegas napping in the first 20 minutes, but not going to be involved in the side, obviously, with the money what it is. But we are going to go over the total, and we think it gets there late. Okay. To recap today's plays, Philadelphia Columbus over 6.5 minus 15. Florida plus $1.19. St. Louis Dallas over 6.5 even. Seattle Nashville over 6.5 even. And VGK San Jose over 6.5 even. Before I go, remember, please go to pickdawgz.com right now. I have my college football 3-pack up there. 3 games, $54.99. Comes with my Pick Dawgz win guarantee. Also, we're loaded up with Phillies Braves. 3 NHL games. Broncos, Chiefs, side total, all on Pick Dawgz right now. Thank you for everybody who got involved in our 30-day package that we put up there yesterday. It was awesome, man. We're going to do that again soon. I appreciate it. Don't want to go back to the well too many times, but thank you to everybody who got on board for the next 30 days. No matter how you join me, please make sure you do. Feel free to DM me at Dana Lane Sports if you have any questions or comments. I read them all. I appreciate them all, and definitely try to respond as much as I can. That's going to do it, I guess, for today's show. I got nothing else. I would ramble on for 40 more minutes. I used to do a 3-hour radio show, so I can go all day, I guess. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck with your wagers tonight.